Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and it's going to be part 4 of Road to Rank 1. Now, I said at the end of the last video that I was going to play more off screen, like off camera, and try to make it back to Rank 1, or try to make it up to Rank 1, and what I ended up doing is essentially losing all of the progress I had made that day. I think I ended the day plus 8 points from where I had started, at exactly 2,900. Now this morning, I just woke up, decided to play some cards, felt like playing cards, felt like, just having fun, and I decided to switch to Frontline because I wanted to give Frontline a try. I really love the deck. And, well, I went 25-2 on Frontline and got up to Rank 1. Now, the reason I'm recording this video now, though, is because I did all of that off camera, is because Tangtang has just passed me. Tangtang is actively playing right now, and he's climbed 40 points since he started his session, and he's now passed me, and he's climbing more, and this is very much in Tangtang's MO. Now, any other player, I would expect them to just tank 100 points. I mean, we've seen the person in rank 3 do it already this season. But Tangtang is a completely different beast. Now, a lot of players might not recognize Tangtang if they are newer to the game or haven't been following the competitive scene that closely. Tangtang is one of the highest performing players ever, other than myself, on ladder. If you look back this time last year, Tangtang won like 5 or 6 months in a row. Incredibly powerful player on ladder in particular, and good tournament results as well, but specifically on ladder, Tangtang is an absolute beast, and he took a break from the game around November, December, waiting for a new expansion, and with the announcement of the new expansion coming out, he is back, and he is back in force. He climbed from rank 20 last week or a couple of weeks ago, down, like, rank 20 pre-field marshal. Again, hadn't played the game in 4 months, and now he is in rank 1 and climbing. So I thought it would be an interesting change of pace to, instead of trying to hit a stagnant, still target, to sort of climb with Tangtang, see how it turns out. Do we both climb really, really high and just push ahead of third, or is one of us going to lose and then either I might just, I don't know, maybe I play a game and see Tangtang loses twice in a row and I don't have to play anymore, in which case it might be short and I'll save this intro for some more games later, or maybe I lose and I have to play more games to catch up. We will see, but either way, I'm excited for it, and let's just double check. Yep, still 29.96. He's about to hit the 3K barrier, which hasn't been done in several months. So let's get into the game, and let's try to pass him.
What a performance there by J-King.
J-King, full plot armor.
J-King is pushing himself into the ranks of the legend. J-King is our world champion! J-King 7! What? The back-to-back Kards world champion!
Alright, first game against a Briton. For a brief second I thought I'd queued into Tangtang in the first game. That would be pretty funny. Now, I do not believe I've played this player this month. Britain, very good possibility that it is just discard. The single most likely outcome, though, is air, and because of that, I think I am going to keep the stars. I feel like the matchup into discard is usually favorable enough that I can afford to take one weaker card into discard if it is going to be the best card into air, and it's more likely that it is air. So we have the Combat Engineers 35T. I might start with 32nd if he plays an air unit. Just because air sup on Combat Engineers is a pretty reasonable play. Starting off strong with the double 32nd. He passes. I'm still going to go for the Combat Engineers, because against discard, one of the ways you can win is just put them under a lot of pressure. Because your units just sort of come in wave after wave after wave. If a couple die, it doesn't really matter. Unlike, say, air, where you're looking for more very sticky units that you can keep buffing, units that don't take damage when attacking. So I'll probably just supply shortage me here if it's control firewall. This is a very, very bad matchup for us. I mean, like, in theory, I I'm like kind of terrified to... Well, okay. So, this is going to be a Commonwealth deck. I mean, the point of a deck like this, using the new firewall, which says a target unit cannot attack the enemy HQ, is you're trying to get 4 units in the front line to have that effect. So essentially, your opponent only has 1 spot that they can attack you from. Now, this is much less effective against a deck like Air, where you're attacking from the support line, and if they play Firewall, you just push it to the front line, play another unit in your support line, and keep going. Against front line, this is very, very effective because you can almost exclusively attack them from the front line, which means if they get 4 Firewalls out, you have 1 unit that can attack. And he already has 2 Firewalls, so that is very, very bad. Now, the one thing we have going for us, though, is the fact that it prevents him from playing any board clears. Or he loses the effect of the firewall, because he just kills the firewalled units. I'm probably just going to Blitzkrieg him next turn, because, I mean, the damage of Blitzkrieg is equal to the number of units that can attack in the front line. So right now, the max damage Blitzkrieg can deal is 9, unless, obviously, he could play a board clear. I mean, it's potentially possible that we just rush him down. Like, this is a lot of damage upcoming. This is actually just lethal if he passes. Like, he needs to do something here. Gunship on Sherman. Okay. Is it gonna be, like, double gunship to kill Sherman? Sea Patrol. To kill the front line? Okay. That seems very strange to me. So I don't want to play the We Can Do It, because I'm thinking of... I want him to kill the firewalled units. I could still just Blitzkrieg for 6. That's going to be 8, 14. If my math is correct, so that drops him to 5. Is it possible to greed out? I don't think it's wise to greed out. Like, he also might be running National Fire Services and stuff in this deck. So, getting the damage in now where it's guaranteed, the 6 damage. Because essentially, like, at this point, if he plays 3 fortifications, that's only up to 26. Like, we're putting him under pressure, essentially. So this is attacking phase for sure. I'm thinking just combat engineers. Whirlwind. Keep the pressure mounted. And he's just gonna surrender. Yep. Good game. I don't imagine we're gonna be getting a lot of points from that. Tangtang finished his game for a +3, so doesn't quite break 3K yet. So let's get into game number 2 of this session. Alright. Game 2 against Soviets. So Soviets... It's funny, I was joking earlier today with some people about how one of the reasons I switched to frontline is because I wasn't seeing a lot of Soviet control. Because that is typically a difficult matchup. And as soon as I switched to the deck, I was just facing non-stop Soviet control. And I haven't actually lost to Soviet control yet this month on this deck, but it can be a really, really terrible matchup. I'm considering just keeping this. I mean, I could honestly just full keep. This is not a terrible hand. because it's pretty similarly to actually the last deck, one of the main ways you can try to win is by just putting your opponent under a ton of pressure. Specifically with, now Soviets is like one of the best nations in the game for dealing with pressure in theory, with cards like Armored Train, First Rifles. I mean, the addition of 39th Rifles Regiment is really annoying. However, specifically with cards like Half Track and Patrol, that essentially just let you, for very, very cheap, either negate their entire turn if they spend their entire turn playing a guard unit, and then you retreat it back to their hand and get in like maybe 5 damage worth of attacks. Those attacks add up really fast. Okay. Airstrike, discard the best card in my hand. Sure. So we have 1/32 in deck. Do I want to hit face for 2 or play out another? The reasons to not play out another would be just Scorched Earth and Root Out. I think I'm going to play it because if this guy's discard, we need all the draws we can get. So if he draws... Or sorry, if I draw the other 32nd, I'm kind of screwed. Okay, Sherman here is actually quite a good find. Machines of War. That's quite annoying. We can just half-track it, and since he spent a, he's played Machines of War to get it out of his hand. Oh, please, no. Oh, okay. Well, this is the very handy-dandy patrol we have here. Just going to remove that. Airstrike, sure. I'm surprised it didn't hit the Sherman. I'm gonna trade it out, actually. I could just go face, and then he's left with just a 6/4 for 2-op, which is not great, like he's forced to trade. The reason to go face, though, is because if he has a red banner, things get real bad real fast. Now, I think I actually want to trade out the Yak, which might seem a little weird at first, because I previously mentioned trying to put on the pressure, and looking at this hand, I have the Blitzkrieg. Yak does damage to him. But Soviet Germany, not going to have a ton of card draw, necessarily. So just going to get a bunch of units to the front line. So I'm wondering if he doesn't run First Rifles, if he's running Machines of War. Because typically you are looking for these 25ths and the 272nd. Wolfpack hits Sherman. Luckily I have the 3rd Sherman in hand. Now I could do combat... Well... See, I want to get the other combat engineers down if possible. I want to draw first, however, though. I can't, though, since the combat engineers takes another spot, so I think we're just going to go for combat engineers, get the 4th Sherman and the 2nd Patrol. Both pretty big pickups. We're missing a lot of Blitz tanks. I mean, he did discard Warble Wind, and we were forced to trade Hellcat into Train. We also have all of our AoEs still in the deck, and if he gets it down, and oh my goodness, that's really annoying. He didn't trade first, which is actually a pretty big mistake by him. Just deleted 4 of his credits. So that's a Blitz tank. not another airstrike. So just removing the guard, going face. We have patrol. We have blitzkrieg. He's not going to have a lot of easy access to healing. He could just like slam IS, like trade slam ISU. He'd be dead to a Greyhound or 35T, if that is what happens. Partisans. Sickle. Draw last. And that's definitely lethal. It was actually lethal without the second one, because of the sickle damage. And with that, taking game 2, bit of a weird deck. Tangtang has passed 3k. I'm wondering if he is still playing. Seems he's on menus, so it seems like that is the target to go for. You could also potentially be waiting for me to try to Q-snipe me. Interesting to see also no one is now online. No one is in top 10, so queuing into him would be some good points. Let's get into game 3 and see who it is. It is not Tangtang or no one. It is in fact Lord Xerax, who is going to be on Britain. And I quite like this hand, to be completely honest. PIR might not necessarily be fit the best with this current curve. Depending on what he's playing. I mean, if he's control, I could see doing PIR on 2, double push on 3. If he's any type of air, I want to be pushing Red Devils on 2. What is he pointing at that? Okay, so that's presumably an air sup. Because of the likelihood of air sup, I'm actually going to play the PIR, because he might consider air supping the PIR. Maybe play Albacore on PIR, and then I can push Devils, make it a 5-5, and then that should essentially just be a Bomber Stomper. Top deck air sup is going to target the PIR. Type 94. The surprise attack can be really annoying, but he needs at least 4 credits to do that. So we have our Bomber Stomper. So it looks like that Type 94 is what he was hovering over on turn 1. I don't know why it looked like he was pointing something. So he just pins it. He can't attack it now, though. And that was probably his best shot. Like, my thought now is maybe he has Piracy? Because Piracy would be the best way for him to kill this. And by the best way, I mean at this point, realistically, the only way he's going to be killing this anytime soon. So if he does do Piracy on this, that's 2. Swordfish into this, that's 4. Type 94. So if I Sherman or 5th Rangers, I can still clear it. I feel like 5th Rangers is probably slightly more proactive. The reason I like 5th Rangers here is it's 4 credits, and then he has to react to it, or it is just 4 damage into the support line every time as for 0 credits. Whereas Sherman, I play it, I get 2 draws, and then he could feasibly try to answer it the same way he could answer 5th Rangers, since they were 4/4s. Except if he doesn't answer Sherman, it then costs me 4 credits on the following turn to do anything with it. Whereas 5th Rangers has the 0 up, and I mean, I imagine I'm going to be able to draw with Sherman in the future. Like, I don't think he's about to take the front line from me, is what I mean to say. So I'll probably just half-track the Aichi. And he's presumably going to double trade into the 5th Rangers. Which means I get the Type 94 disappears. I get to kill the Swordfish, send back Aichi, and I will push up the... I mean, I could play 32nd. I'm going to push up the 99th, keep the pressure on the support line, because he could do something like Albacore Red Devils replay Aichi. Now, obviously, I also still have the half track that will have something to say about that. Yes, I can draw 30 seconds, but I want the flexibility of being able to do stuff with this or play Patrol. Do I just get him for 7? Air has no healing. I don't really see a reason to hit this, since that just increases the attack he has on board. And I don't have any, like, AoEs that are setting up fully removing it on the following turn. Does he have the second air sub? Ah, that's really annoying. Is he going to throw out another unit as sacrifice? Like, if he throws out a Swordfish here, it's essentially heal 4. I think I make the Showman into a... Really? That's annoying. Wait, he killed the one in the support line. That is quite interesting. I could half-track hit him for 4. I can also hit him for... I feel like just trying to maximize my damage here is probably my best play. I don't think he can kill me fast enough. And I'm making the Sherman the 6/6 because he has shown that he finds it difficult to deal with big threats, whereas if I put it on the 99th, he could feasibly do like Swordfish, Empire Strikes, and suddenly we're in a world of hurt. Okay, Wellington, he's out of air subs. Albacore can keep him alive. No, actually, he's just dead to hand. Hellcat plus Greyhound is 8 credits, 5 damage. So he's literally just dead. We got him. This was a very odd game against air. Just a very aggressive hand. I suppose we have the ability to play around obscure countermeasures, like Unexpected Resistance, the zero-cost countermeasure that destroys a unit with a blitz when it enters the front line. That is actually going to be very good points. How high up is Lord Xerax? Lord Xerax is surely top 100 with points like those. Maybe not. But either way, we are within 7 of Tangtang, and it looks like Tangtang is still on menus. So let's play another, and I mean, it's possible we pass them with this game. Very unlikely though. So likely going to be 2 more games. So let's get into those. Pretty fast queue into Chenzi, the British player. Chenzi. Chenzi was on air when I played them. Pretty normal looking list with double Wrath. So, another game against air. This is quite the strong opening hand, so I could see sending back half-track, but I'm just going to full keep. The reason I'm double Devils is so strong here is if he does have the air sub to answer the first Devils, that's going to be his entire turn. Like, he needs to play air unit on turn 1. That's on an air unit, so he already can't do it. Which means we get the 99th off. And because of that, I'm actually going to play the 32nd. Because this Red Devils is guaranteed to survive, I'm going to play out the 32nd rather than the other Red Devils. The reason to play out the other Red Devils is if he does a turn 1 Swordfish Gladiator Sonia, and then I do turn 2 push up 1 Red Devils, play the other one in the support line. Now, how do we answer the Aichi? I can just half-track it. I can 35T into it, and push up a 32nd, 35T into it, play another 32nd. I can also get the 99th out now, and kill it, which is what I'm leaning towards. If he has Monty surprise attack, he can kill it now. If he just attacks into it, that's a very clear sign he has Empire Strikes in hand, so I'm not going to commit a whole lot else. He has the Monty surprise attack. However, that does mean Monty is gone, which is a pretty big relief. Makes the trade. I'm relatively certain that that was incorrect for him. And let's just push the 5th Rangers, sort of challenges him. Now, obviously, there's a couple ways he could easily answer it. One would just be Albacore to pin it, or a British unit close air support, make this a 4-3 and kill it, which is what he is going to do. And that is just going to give us a good enough reason to return that to hand. Now, it does come back down with Smokescreen, but it also comes back down for 3 credits, which is going to be a pretty big tempo swing. Okay. Is he just doing an early Empire Strikes? If he does that, we probably just do Red Devil's Sherman. Yep. Early Empire. So, we are behind on board, however, he's down an Empire Strikes and a Monty. Skytrain and We Can Do It are not... I mean, they're not bad cards in the matchup by any means, but they're both sort of niche situations. Like, the Skytrain currently would just die instantly. And this We Can Do It is really good for keeping boards alive from a potential, like, pin into Empire Strikes, a setup. Oh, that's really annoying. Oh, wait, he double... That was definitely wrong. Unless he has Cass. What's he doing? Apparently not playing around Stars and Stripes or strategic bombing. I can tell you that much. So I could just go for another Sherman, plus 35T, take out one of the bombers, which is certainly what I'm leaning towards. There's also the possibility of Skytrain 35T, take out one of the bombers. Please no 30 seconds. Okay, we got the stars. Gonna take out the higher health bomber. I don't really want to hit Red Devils into the Type 94. Now, if he has second Empire Strikes, that would be better. However, I don't think it's too reasonable to expect him to have second Empire Strikes. He does have second Air Sup, though, which is quite annoying. And luckily, he still has not learned how to play around Stars and Stripes, so this time we actually do have it. Takes out the entire board. Now, we can... I'm leaning to just going for the Skytrain here. We want to put him under pressure, because this is the situation where he's Lend-Leasing, so we essentially get a free turn. Except that also means after the Lend-Lease we had, now everything's back on the table. We can do Rafts, Empire Strikes, huge bomber setups, potentially like a shelling to set up a 2-turn. Now, I'm actually kind of thinking about just 5th Rangers, We Can Do It. Because I want a board that is resilient. I also want to draw. I also want to heal. And I definitely don't want to push this out as a 8-8 because he has this surprise attack in hand. Pick up the Whirlwind. This is not a bad card to get off of Skytrain. The best card to get off of Skytrain at this moment would be Combat Engineers. So he's going to raft that back to the support line. Also, the one big benefit out of this is if, I mean, he can't anymore, but if he shellings, it dies. So instead of getting stuck with a full support line, which is never something you want to do on frontline, since that just means you can't really play cards. What? I guess I didn't need to push this up yet, because I could Sherman into a combat engineers. I think I'm just going to use a 35T. Take out the swordfish. And don't leave... He does run... he probably has a second Wrath. Now, I'm kind of wondering if the setup here... Okay, no, he's just going to surrender. I was wondering if he was trying to set up like a Spitfire shelling to set up just going for lethal with fighters. The reason I wasn't too worried about that is I did have the half-track. So, actually a decent chunk of points from that. We have passed the 3k barrier ourselves. We're now just 2 points behind Tangtang, who appears to have logged off. So, let's see if we can take back rank 1 in, hopefully, the final game of the video. I guess you can take a look at the video length, and if it's significantly longer, you can expect that I am going to lose this one. So, let's get into the game. Okay, we are playing against the ladder god himself, 1606693932, who I believe I have played before this month. I have not, in fact, played against this person before. Germany. I don't feel great about... Like, I kind of want to keep another card. The problem is all of these cards really suck against Germany. Now, there's an argument for keeping Strap Bombing, because Strap Bombing is just never bad against any matchup. However, I think I'm just going to take the risk. We don't get back a 32nd in the mulligan, we can still draw into one, and he is playing some sort of aggressive deck. Now, I'm kind of tempted to start with the Devils, just so he doesn't have anything to farm with an Axe Cube. The benefit of doing this is if he's looking for a push-up to pull Befelswagen or 35T, 32nd trades nicely with that. It's... Oh. Okay. That's pretty weird. It is Jur Italy, just with an Axe Cube. That's not something you typically see because of... people really like running 989 in that deck. Now, we're playing 32nd. We're definitely not attacking phase, because if it's decisive, then we just throw the game. I think the question is, do we hit or not hit? Because if we don't hit and just play out... Oh, sorry, if we hit and then play out 2 30-seconds, we're walking into a root out. And if he wants to just keep spending credits doing this... So I think we just play out 3 30-seconds? So this is the last 30-second in the deck. We don't have to worry about overdrawing them anymore. If I play this out, it means I can Sherman next turn. So I do think I want to play them all out. So he is going to trade, and then pass. So there's two things I could do here. One is just slam Sherman, which feels pretty good. The other would be push up Skytrain to try to get Skytrain rolling. I'm leaning towards the Sherman here. Mostly because getting the Skytrain rolling is good for setting up this aggressive blitzkrieg, get a lot of units out there. This JU is getting half-tracked 100% of the time. Now the question is, do we push up 2 30-seconds, or do we push up the Sherman? Now pushing up the 2 30-seconds is bad into Rudo. Pushing up Sherman's bad into line for a day. If we push up to 30 seconds, next turn we'll have 6 credits. We can do half track 35T, 15, 16, 24. So actually, by pushing up both of these, we set up lethal if he just slams JU again and doesn't have Careless Talk. And honestly, if he does root out this now, slams Panther G, then Errado, draw last. So if my math is correct, this should just be lethal. Push up, 15 to damage Blitzkrieg on turn 6. Make sure everything goes face, and that is exact damage lethal for a very, very fast win. And yeah, that guy made some unfortunate plays, and with that, we have achieved rank 1. Now, there is still about 40 so hours to go, 42 hours left in season. Now, I might do more videos if I notice Tangtang goes on and plays more. I might just go to bed, and this is going to be the end of the video, but expect there to be at least another video, because I don't think Tangtang is going to let this rest. I'm not sure about player 3. I'm not sure if they're going to let it rest. Maybe they climb more, maybe they tank. And then elsewhere in the top 6, we see Baron has fallen out of the top 6, but is still easily within striking distance. HQT has risen up from top 10. I'm not familiar with this player at all, but they're performing quite well. And then you have some other players, like this person in rank 6, who has dropped quite a bit. They were at 2,900 earlier today. Princess obviously doing quite well. And do not forget, Noen, who is a staple of the top 6, who seems to be struggling right now. However, again, still about 2 days to go, so a lot can happen. So, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of this, see how this season turns out from my perspective, or other videos. Especially expect content covering the new expansion and the things surrounding it. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.